Hey guys, welcome to Pop Culture Curiosities, where I and people that I know from set people, if you will, talk about pop culture things that interest us. Today we have Madison. Do you want to tell them how we met? I'm just gonna keep going.
I was wondering how long you keep going. We met on a set that was bad.
A really bad set.
It was bad.
I don't even know if we can technically talk about it because strike.
Well, it was a bad movie, probably. It was a bad set.
It was a really bad set.
Yeah.
Yeah, so many things happened on that set. I'm having flashbacks.
It was a lot. Yeah.
Were you there the night that people found... You were, right? The night that people got kicked out because they were having sex on the balcony in the hotel that we were filming at?
I don't remember that.
You might have already been put in that other room, that side room where you were like, hey, you and these 9 other people are going to be used for this random important thing that they never did. And
yeah,
we were just, like, separated.
I think it was more than 9 people. I think it was me and like 25 other people were like, you're the Mexico group.
And we were like, what does Mexico group do?
And then they put us all in a room. And then they kept being like, all right, we need every single person for this shot, except for Mexico group. So I just kind of kept sitting in the room for... That was the 18-hour shift day.
And they never used you
and
guys.
They never even used us.
Remember...
It was probably going to be a gag where someone would be at a party and then they'd be like, yeah, what do you mean we're in Mexico? So none of the people that were in Mexico could be in the other shot, probably.
Maybe.
But then they ended up not filming it for whatever reason. Maybe they realized it was a dumb idea for a joke.
Or they ran
Maybe
out of
I was
time.
wrong about the joke idea. They just didn't have time for it. Who knows?
All I know is they kept you late, too. And, like, it was already, like, a long, long day or night that we had all been there. And then I got to go home. And you saw me getting to go home from the balcony and just texted me, bitch. And that's how our friendship started.
No, our friendship had started on a different set.
Yeah, because we already had fun. We already had
on a different set for the same company. Or the same project.
Yeah, that was
it
a
was
different
a different day.
Yeah, because we were there for like, what, a week or two? At least? Earlier on in that set, on the first day of filming, me and one person that I knew, we were supposed to be just kids riding bikes in the neighborhood, but we were tailing the car that one of the main characters was in. And so the car was in our line of view as we go down a hill, but they thought that felt like we were staring at the main character. So they told us, ride down this hill on a bicycle, but don't look ahead of you as you go. Also, the car stops abruptly because another character runs out in front of it. So we just had to try not to rear end that car. And it was an adventure every day.
What a cartoonishly bad... What a cartoonishly bad set.
We could probably do a whole episode just talking about that.
We could. There are a lot of things we could do a whole episode about, like how you're wrong about Game of Thrones.
We always fight about Game of Thrones.
Yeah. We do, and we always will.
It's just a perpetual cycle.
Yeah.
Do you know what I told you what we were talking about today, right?
I believe you mentioned, but say it again, because, there's an audience who doesn't know.
We're talking about the 2009... Let me go back. This is our time machine. Flash warning, everybody. Spencer puts in sound effects that are we definitely hear right here, right now. It's
oh my god, the sound effects are incredible.
Yeah, it definitely...
That loud spring sound that just happened, I heard that.
Yeah, that cat screeching in the background, he's gonna kill us for making him go and get all these extra sounds.
Can you believe there was just a loud Wilhelm scream? I can't. It was crazy. We have a button for that under the desk that I'm pressing right now. Look, I just pressed the Wilhelm scream button the second time.
Anyway, we're in 2009 now. I'm taking you back to a very specific time in my childhood. You don't remember this, but we were 12 when this happened. I remember this vividly because here's where we are right now. We're in my old childhood home in Canton. You were there once or twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you were like, I'm moving. And I was like, oh, you might be closer. And you were the exact same distance away, but the opposite direction.
Yeah. So we're in my old childhood house in Canton, Georgia. And we are, it's like the afternoon. It's like after school, I'm pretty sure. And it's almost to the day. What, in 2009, 10? It's almost 14 years to the day that this happened. I didn't plan this, but this happened in October of 2009. So It's a normal afternoon, and then breaking news comes on the news about a 6-year-old trapped in a helium balloon that's flying over Colorado.
Fun.
And my mom is glued to this TV. So we're all glued to this TV. It's like, everybody, there's a 6-year-old in a balloon. He's flying over Colorado. So that was the entirety of that afternoon. The world watched as a helium balloon flew across the state of Colorado at rapid speed with what was reported to be a 6-year-old boy in it. Now, here's a little clip. I'll send this to Spencer if I don't forget. Sorry,
I love all the things we have Spencer do, like the Wilhelm scream that just happened a third time.
So this is going to be like, Manny doesn't get to be on the podcast anymore.
I mean, at the very least, I'm doing the same sound effect, you know?
Yeah.
It's an easy button to press. It's in real time, I swear.
Yeah, I hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're crazy. There wasn't actually a sound.
Okay, so here's a little tiny clip of what basically was an entire afternoon.
On board, or a young boy on board this house as it went up into the air. This is an extraordinary situation. Let's dip in right now.
So this is the sound isn't important, but I need you to see this is the balloon. This is live footage. Stop cutting in with the talking.
Live footage. Hey, I don't care about this person talking. I want to see this child.
Look, this is the balloon, and newscasts from all over the world were following this balloon as it floats because parents were like, we built this thing, we're storm chasers, our 6-year-old got in it and somehow triggered the lever and he's off, he's gone, he's flying. It's like Charlie in the Great Glass Elevator.
Yeah, but like more incompetent.
Yeah, but it gets crazier.
I mean, just this beginning is hilarious.
Yeah, this was just the whole country.
Who has a balloon like this?
I'll get
We're
into that.
storm chasers. Shut the fuck up. No, you're not.
Okay, so
you wouldn't have this in your backyard.
Here's the family.
There's already holes in the story.
So here's the family that this centers around. It centers around the Heaney family. Specifically, the dad is quite an interesting character. What's happening?
I'm just looking at the thing on the thing.
Oh, okay. Sorry. We both have ADHD.
I was still completely listening. You were starting to talk about the dad. I can multitask.
True. I can't. Anyway, the dad, Richard Heaney, is a very interesting person. He's one of those guys that'll, like, do anything for attention. You know those guys? Like, he will do anything if he thinks it's, like, either a get-rich-quick scheme or his, like, claim to fame. So, he is an inventor. You want to see some of his inventions? Because he made some infomercials.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm inventor Richard Heaney. If you itch like a son of a twitch, then you need my latest invention, the patent-pending Bear Scratch. Check it out.
And we're not making this up. Obviously, Richard Heaney has invented this product to scratch your back.
It's a stick that goes on your wall, and you can scratch your back on it, like a bear on a tree.
Some say the idea isn't Heaney's, but instead belongs to the Bears.
So that's that. He also has the... What is this?
Hi, I'm Richard Heaney, inventor of the Heaney Duty Truck Transformers.
The Heaney Duty Truck Transformer.
This is the very first pickup truck robot.
it's a pickup truck robot. I haven't seen this one yet.
And go. Now, with the Heaney Duty truck transformers, it's sitting on the ground. You push one button, it rises up to the tailgate. You put on 2 cables. You load it inside your pickup. The last set of legs go up. You load it inside your truck, close the tailgate, and you're gone. You're out of there.
All right, it's so easy. First, what you have to do is you have to load everything onto this thing, then press this button, then pull the switch, then plug in this cable, and then plug in this other cable, and then disconnect the first cable now that you've plugged in the second cable, and then reconnect that into a different spot and press the button and activate this, and it can hold up to 5 pounds and then do all these other things.
5 pounds. My thing is, he's saying it's a robot, but I'm not really seeing it do anything.
Watch this. Whammo! You got a table.
Wait, is it literally just like a pickup truck bed on wheels?
Yeah, pretty much, I think.
So my first thought was that it was something that attached to the back of a pickup truck
well, I
bed.
think it is. I think this goes in the back of the truck, doesn't it? Or are you saying this is a separate entity on its own?
So my first thought was it was something that would attach to the back that would go up and down, so that you could like easily load heavier things into it, like a power lift, right?
Yeah.
Like you just like wheeled whatever you're carrying onto it with like a dolly, and then it was lifted up onto the truck bed level.
Okay.
With the Heaney Duty truck transformers, you're gonna save money. You're gonna save time. You need the Heaney Duty truck transformers. Call me. I'm Richard Heaney. I'm
not 100% sure what this does.
I don't
you
know.
Skipped a bit in the middle.
I could go back, but I don't know that it'll help us.
Okay, that's actually cool.
Okay, so he's an inventor. This was posted 7 years ago, so this might be post Balloon Boy incident. He's also a science guy. He had a science podcast back in early days of or I don't even know if it was on YouTube. He had like a podcast that he did with like a couple other science people. And that was like his thing. He wanted to be like, I think he wanted to be like the next Bill Nye the Science Guy, or
I mean, fair.
Yeah, you know, so far fine. So far nothing is. Maybe it's a little unusual, but nothing is like weird. Also, back to the storm chasing. He is a storm chaser. I don't know. So I don't know what capacity you count being a storm chaser as. He has chased storms. I don't know that he has recovered any meaningful data. I could not find conclusive results on that. But he has the big, like, storm chaser Doppler thing. And this... he does. And he moved to Colorado. Careful that this doesn't unplug.
I was making it look more stable.
Thank you. I appreciate you. He...
Moved to Colorado?
Moved to Colorado for the storm chasing, which is kind of weird. Wouldn't you, like, move to, like, Tornado Alley?
Yeah, you'd move to, like, Kansas or something.
Yeah, he didn't. He moved to Colorado.
Ah, you know, where there's so many famous mountain tornadoes.
Yeah, the mountain tornadoes.
Yeah, those mountain tornadoes are real. They're gonna get you.
That'd be a great name for a band. Mountain tornadoes.
Or, like, an album.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, guys, here's a song from our new album, Mountain Tornadoes. Let's go! 1, 2, 3!
What kind of music is on Mountain Tornadoes?
I don't know. I'm feeling like aggressive acoustic music, you know?
Ska, maybe?
That could be ska, yeah. It's not the vibe that I was immediately thinking, but you say it and just... Yeah.
It could work. Anyway, this is Richard Heaney. Richard Heaney has a wife, and Richard Heaney has 3 sons. And this family was... They had been on reality TV before. They'd been on Wife Swap. Did you ever watch Wife Swap?
I don't think so. I might have seen one episode randomly on TV when I was 8 and gone, what's this about? This is lame, and then stopped watching.
When I was a kid, I was obsessed with Wife Swap and Wife Swap adjacent reality shows.
So my understanding of it, I could be wrong, is you have 2 couples who suck, and they're like, oh yeah, you know, it would suck even more if your wife was this random other woman, and then they swap, and they go, damn, that did suck. You're right.
I appreciate you more. This will help our relationship.
Yeah, you know what?
Family problem.
You know what helps our relationship dynamic? Shipping you out to another house for 2 weeks.
And they would always pick the most comically opposite people. So, like, the Heenies, their, like, gimmick, because every family has to have a gimmick, right? It's always, like, the super conservative homeschool family with the super crunchy liberal family that goes to public school, right?
Oh,
like,
boy.
Yeah, so the Richard Heaney's family, because he has this history in storm chasing, they were like the Storm Chaser family. That was like their thing. It's like Richard Heaney and wife, and their 3 boys. Let their 3 boys run wild as they chase tornadoes with them. Like they're like they swap with a family that's like very safety conscious. So like the safety conscious lady he's like, come on, help me put my Storm Chaser equipment together, and she's like, what? You're gonna do what? You let your kids do what? And like in that episode, we see like the kids, we see the boys like climbing into the rafters in the garage. We see them like just like parkouring off of shit. They're like little kids. So that was the Heenies, and they were trying to get a spin-off TV series after their brush with fame on Wife Swap.
Well, yeah, they're narcissists. They had a brief moment of fame, and now they want more.
I feel like, from what I've learned about this situation, it's probably mostly Richard Heaney, because he's kind of, there's some stuff about him being...
The guy running around making infomercials that's just him talking like, you know, about, like, guys, I made this invention. It's the coolest thing ever. You need to buy my new bear back scratcher.
Well, allegedly, his wife is Japanese. That's not the alleged part. Like, that she is Japanese.
That'd be funny if that was.
But allegedly, he was, like, super controlling. But allegedly, she was super controlling. He was super controlling and abusive to her. And also misogynistic and racist. Because at one point on their Wife Swap episode, allegedly, he said to this one lady that she was being basically a pain in the ass for, you know, calling him out on his bullshit. And I guess he said, I'm so glad my wife is Asian.
What?
So just like, just crazy misogynistic racist shit.
Awful.
Yeah, awful. Yeah. The more you learn about the further down the rabbit hole you go, it doesn't get better, it gets worse. So, the family was on Wife Swap, and because of Richard being such a nutcase, they were kind of like a fan favorite family. So when they did Wife Swap All Stars,
oh no,
they let them come back for a second
Why would
episode.
they do Wife Swap All Stars?
Because they're like, we need to milk more money out of these crazy families. I believe it was also Wife Swap where the "she's not a Christian" lady comes from. You know that thing?
No.
The one that was like, there was like this mom on Wife Swap that was like aggressively Christian, who swapped with like an atheist family, I think. And there's this meme because she gets back to her house and she's screaming about, you know, the other mother who they took a liking to, and she's screaming, "She's not a Christian!" And then she's screaming, "Everybody who's a Christian can stay out of my house! Everybody else, get out!" And so it's this big meme. It's a whole different story for a different day. But anyway, Wife Swap was crazy. And one of the craziest families was the Heaney family, and because of this, they were brought back for a second episode, which never aired because of what I'm going to tell you about here. They pulled the episode, and it is lost to time.
Oh, boy.
I kind of wish that we got to see the episode, because allegedly the episode involves them swapping with a family where the mom says she's psychic, and, like, Richard Heaney's doing scientific experiments on her.
Hilarious.
Sounds like peak television. Anyway, the Heenies.
Yeah, I want idiot, asshole science man and, like, dumb, hippie, I'm a psychic person to just be in the same room on TV and be interacting about that difference. That sounds hilarious.
Yeah. Apparently he was, like, hooking up wires to her and doing some kind of, like, experiment. Like, I don't know what he was doing.
I
We'll
love
never
to
know.
imagine some couple is like, let's do Wife Swap. That could be fun. And then, like, the wife ends up with Richard Heaney, and then she's over there, and she doesn't, husband doesn't know, comes back. So how was your wife swap? Mine was weird. You put wires in my brain. What? Honey, what was that? There's wires. They're everywhere.
Yeah, and he had me put my hand in a bowl of water. It was super safe. Can you imagine?
Oh my god.
So anyway, we didn't get to see this peak magnum opus of American television because of what we're about to talk about.
Oh, enjoy.
So, Richard Heaney had the weather balloon for his storm chasing science man things, I guess. I don't know what you use them for. I'm sure there's a reason.
Wind speed, weather pattern. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's this
On top of the
giant
number.
nylon balloon. It's silver and it looks like a spaceship. It kind of has that shape. And one day, there is a 911 call from the Heenies saying, you have to help us. Our 6-year-old, our youngest son, somehow we left the balloon outside. The kid was outside and he somehow climbed into the balloon and he triggered the mechanism and the balloon took off. So our 6-year-old is flying over Colorado in a weather balloon.
I feel like that might be hard to do on accident.
Please help. Right. There's so many questions about like how you would even, I don't even know, trigger the weather balloon to take off from the inside? Is there like a chirp chirp? Is there a button?
I don't know. I don't know really anything about weather balloons.
Anyway, this
Outside of their balloons, they have something to do with the weather.
Yes, they are balloons and they have to do with the weather. I'm generally sure that that's the consensus on weather balloons.
I don't know. There's probably a couple random people that are like, nah, man, weather balloons, nothing to do with the weather. They're actually government drones here to spy on you. Or some nonsense like that.
Yeah, they want to like fly it off the edge of the earth on that like flat earther cruise that they wanted to do before COVID shut them down.
Flat earthers. Hilarious.
Anyway, 911 receives this phone call and 911 is like, what?
How did you do that?
And
what are we supposed to do about that?
And also, how do we begin to resolve this problem, right?
Yeah.
Who do you call when a 6-year-old is in a weather balloon?
Imagine you're like a cop, right? And you're like, hell yeah, I love being a cop, love beating my wife, hell yeah. And then 40%, and then you get a phone call at work, and it's like, what is it? There's a balloon. It's flying. It's way up there. It's going. There's a child in it. What do you do?
I don't know.
Shoot it with a taser? That's not gonna help.
Yeah, they don't know anything except like pew pew with the taser or the gun. Yeah, that's what the cops do.
Maybe fly a police helicopter over.
Well, that's what they did. In fact, I believe the like air marshals, or I'm probably saying that wrong, but like basically more than just the police
What do you
were
mean
involved.
saying that wrong? How would you mispronounce air marshals?
Not like mispronouncing, but I forget. Is that like the
Air
actual
marshals.
You know what I mean? Is somebody's gonna be like, actually, it's the aerospace division of the military government. You know what I mean? The people that are trained with the airplanes, they got involved. They were like,
The people that are trained with the airplanes.
the government people with the airplanes.
That sounds like the Air Force? Is that what you meant?
I don't think so. It might be the Air Force. I took extensive notes on this one.
We are already significantly past the amount I was told about this beforehand. All I knew going in was 6-year-old in a weather balloon.
Well, see, this is very fun because everybody else I've ever told the story about remembers this. So I like getting to tell you the story for the first time.
Fun.
So everybody's involved. There's helicopters, as you saw, and as you saw, because Spencer is doing a great job editing this podcast.
Oh, yeah. That was just a fourth Wilhelm scream. I think it's fourth. I might have lost count.
So because of this, like, you know, the news breaks in with breaking news. You want to know the funniest thing about this? Newly elected President Obama was giving a town hall and they broke in and cut him off. CNN was like, okay, fuck the president. There's a 6-year-old in a weather balloon in Colorado. They cut him off. There's news footage. I'll have to see if I can find it and send it to Spencer, but I might not be able to. There's news footage of like, breaking in right now. We're going to have to take you away from the president giving a town hall. We have a child that seems to be in a weather balloon. So, like, this was for hours on end. Yeah, let that sink in.
You know what's more important than the last reasonable person to be in that White House? A child!
I mean, the child, if the child is like 1,000 feet in the air in a weather balloon, Obama's not in a weather balloon. We can watch his town hall on repeat.
Why wasn't Obama never in a weather balloon? Can you believe he did this to America by never being in a weather balloon?
Because he knows how dangerous being in a weather balloon must be for a human being. It's also worth noting, this is a nylon balloon. So, like, how much oxygen is in that thing?
A finite amount.
Yeah. So, this is hours on end. News is just like, CNN's doing the CNN thing where they have like live coverage and there's a helicopter hauling ass over Colorado to keep up with this weather balloon. And while that's happening, Wolf Blitzer and all the other talking heads on CNN are like, are you seeing this, Jim? I sure am, Wolf. What do we do? And then they're like calling in experts and the experts are like, I don't even know how this happened. Like, what do you want me to say? It's a 6-year-old in a weather balloon. All of this culminates in eventually... Later on, I think it was like an hour or two later, the balloon, because they couldn't get it down, right? So they basically had to just wait for this thing to...
Deflate?
Yes. And then hope that the kid didn't die. So weather balloon comes down, it crashes into a field.
Pretty good spot for it to land.
It was very lucky, the spot where it landed. And actually, here, I have another video clip. There's a clip of, like, it's landing, there's, like, a truck driving, there's a guy hauling ass outrunning the truck to get to the weather balloon. Everybody's like, fuck, get the weather balloon, there's a 6-year-old in there. So, this happens.
Please tell me they get there and there's no one in it.
So, here, I have the clip. We can watch the clip together.
God, if they get there and there's no one in it, that would be the funniest thing.
I want to find the actual... Where is the actual clip?
Why don't you have the clip ready? Are you bad at your job?
I did. This is the wrong clip.
Avery, why are you bad at your job?
Hang on.
Avery.
Where's the clip? Hang on, where's the clip? There it is.
Oh, no, it's that.
So here's the balloon landing. Look at this guy.
And you're telling us that it's not moving in a straight line direction, but it's beginning to circle above you?
Yeah, it's definitely circling.
That doesn't look like there's a kid in it.
We're watching it descend now. We want to let folks know that as the balloon starts to come down and nears the ground, that's not something that we are going to be showing people live until we're certain that the child inside is safe. That's not something that you're going to watch live here on the air.
I don't think there's a kid in that balloon, just from the way it's sitting.
You mean from the way it's still floating and the bottom part of it definitely doesn't look like it has a kid in it?
Yeah.
By all accounts, there are, Tamron, there are fire and rescue. In fact,
Yes.
you can see something right there. And
This could have gone very wrong. They had live news on this. What if there had been, like, what if the child had died, right? You don't want, like, this might not be what you want to be, like, training every camera in the industry on right now. You know what I mean? Like, that didn't happen.
No, that's the story.
And also, remember, every competent journalist in the country has been called in to cover this case. Everybody's like, fuck the economy, fuck the current war overseas, like, we are all invested in Balloon Boy.
It was a softer landing, I think, than anyone certainly thought it's when we started carrying this earlier.
So, there's clearly not a child in that balloon.
Yeah, very clearly. I could tell from the moment it was landing, I was like, well, it's leaning on that side, so that would probably be where the kid is, throwing off the weight. But then the way it hit, it didn't really look like there was
anything
a child in there. That balloon wasn't that much bigger than that guy.
So the balloon lands, and everybody waits with bated breath, and then there's no child in the balloon. So now, the mission gets a little darker, because then there were all of these photos where people were like, I think I saw something fall out of the balloon, maybe that was the kid, so they're like searching the woods, they think like the kid has fallen out of this balloon, they think the kid is like no longer alive somewhere. Again, that didn't happen, the kid is fine.
Physically.
His name is Falcon. Physically.
His name is Falcon! I feel so sorry for that kid. Oh my god.
Oh, you're gonna feel more sorry for him before we're done with this. So the kid,
all of his Smash Bros. Friends have been like, hey, look, it's Captain Falcon. And he's like, I hate my parents.
No, I think they go, hey, it's Balloon Boy.
That's fair.
But anyway, you know, Falcon, they think they're gonna find Falcon dead. Basically, they think he fell out of the balloon. And then, meanwhile, back at the Heaney house, where there's like 1 million cameras everywhere, eventually, Falcon just comes walking out of the attic. Turns out he was in the attic the whole time. He says, well, actually, he was 6. He didn't say anything. apparently what happened was that the kid fell asleep in a box in the attic. And so while they were calling for him, but it gets funnier. So while they were calling for him, he didn't hear them. He was just sleeping in a box in the attic, like a little kitty cat.
Interesting.
So what do you think about that version of the story?
It's funny. I have many questions and concerns.
So my first question before we go any further, when you were 6, did you know how to get into the attic?
Yeah.
I didn't. Maybe this is just me. I don't know that I would know how to get into the attic at 6. But again, these kids were like climbing up the rafters in the house. Like,
well, they absolutely know how to get into the attic. They probably found it before their parents told them.
Okay, fine. Here's I would like to submit my next piece of, my next piece of evidence to the court. This is the press conference after the parents have supposedly thought their child was in a balloon for 2 hours, thought he was dead, and now he's just fine. He's in the attic, right? This is the press conference, and I want you to watch this and tell me what you think about this.
We don't ground our children, but we're going to talk to them.
You're just going to town on that Go-Gurt.
What I'm trying to invent is a roll-out-of-the-garage vehicle, kind of like the Jetsons, I guess. You fill it up with helium because you can recycle helium.
We're running out of helium.
Can you even recycle it?
I mean, you can recycle it in the fact that you put it into something and it's there and, like, it's still usable. But, like, we're running out of helium because it keeps leaking and then it just goes to the top of the atmosphere where we can't get it back.
I forgot this part of the mythos. He said he was trying to invent, like, a Jetsons flying car, and the balloon was, like, some kind of prototype. Anyway.
We already have those. They're called helicopters.
It runs off 1,000,000 volts on the outer skin, which creates a plasma field to direct it in different directions.
You're a woman of science. You have a degree. How sciencey is that science?
We're in some advanced science now. An electric field that 1,000 volts that generates a plasma field that directs it. So this man's plan is climb inside a weather balloon and then electrocute it to create a field of plasma that totally won't incinerate the balloon to propel it forward.
The person in it will be fine.
No, the person in it was already fried by the electricity. Oh my god! I need to hear this again.
You can run it back.
I need to hear this again.
Yeah, by the way, he just gave the whole pitch to his invention to the press conference about how his child is not dead. Maybe I'm being too hard on him, but that feels not like if my child I thought was flying over Colorado and then he was fine in the attic, I wouldn't be thinking about the plasma field anymore. The hypothetical plasma field that is not engaged in this contraption because it's just a weather balloon.
Yeah.
Continuing on.
How? How's he directing the plasma? He's gonna make a fucking plasma engine? What is this? I have so many questions.
How did it feel to see my son again? This is a relief. We're gonna watch him a lot closer.
Do we feel like that is a genuine reaction to thinking your child died?
No.
Yeah, neither do I.
But yeah, I'm still just, like, as someone with an engineering degree, completely stuck on he was going to turn a weather balloon into a Jetsons flying car by running 1,000,000 volts of electricity through the outer skin of it to create a plasma field that directs it. What?
Yeah.
Whose man is this?
Now
what is he thinking?
So you're going to hear the reporter ask about, is this a publicity stunt? Let's see how he answers that.
That's horrible. I mean, you know, after the crap we just went through, no.
During this time, they were trying to get a TV show, like a reality show about the crazy inventor dad and the wacky kids and the family. So all of what they just said was a lie.
Really?
I know we really have a lot of faith in Balloon Boy family. Mr. and Mrs. Balloon Boy.
No.
We don't want to consider again.
We keep all of our experiments to ourselves. We go and log everything. We go to the desert, chase dust devils together as a family. Everything is tight. We've got an old flying saucer out in the backyard now that we were experimenting with last year. This is what we do.
What?
Yeah, you know, those old flying saucers.
Hey, Falcon, can you tell us, please, where you were hiding and why you stayed hidden so long?
I was in the attic, and he scared me because he yelled at me.
Poor Falcon doesn't even know what's going on.
I yelled at him for going inside it. It's potentially dangerous if you get inside and the electricity comes on. I think that's it.
Really? The 1,000,000 volts in the plasma field is potentially dangerous.
Really want to thank the local police department, Larimer County Sheriff, and all their efforts. You guys are great.
So anyway.
I am still just so stuck on the absolute psychopathy of this man being like, yeah, I'm going to make a flying car. How's it going to work? We're going to run 100 billion volts of instant death through this nice, careful piece of rubber, and we're going to put you in it. And it's going...
You're like, forget about the kid. I care about this now.
I know how my brain works. And my brain is here to be like, what the fuck is this man talking about?
So the story gets... If you think the story ends there, it does not.
Oh, I know it doesn't. We've only been here for a little bit. I realized I checked the time, but I don't know what time we started.
We've been going for about 40 minutes.
40? Oh my god.
Time flies when you're talking about that plasma field.
Yeah, that plasma field. That must have been the last 30 minutes, right?
Yeah, it took so much time. We were just like frozen in shock for like 30 minutes. You're going to watch this podcast back and it's just going to be us going for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I can't get over this.
So
what a lunatic.
Pretty quickly, people are skeptical.
What if your car just killed you?
What if your car
This man was the inspiration for this man was Elon Musk's inspiration. What if your car just killed you?
God. He walked so Elon Musk can run. Mr. Twitter X himself. So anyway, people are immediately suspicious about this story, right? Especially when they find out about the family and the reality TV and all the things.
Yeah.
And you learn more about the dad, and he's a character. So anyway, this culminates in the family giving a exclusive interview to CNN.
Oh, no. They're probably like, yes, this is our big break that will get us our reality show. And then we'll find out, won't we?
Oh, I feel so bad for this poor little kid.
Oh, is the kid in the interview?
All the kids are in the interview.
Whoa!
Parents Richard and Mayumi were apparently frantic when the helium-filled aircraft broke free of its tether and floated away.
Oh, also, yeah, they were running footage on the moment that the balloon lifted off with Falcon in it. Very convenient.
Oh, yeah, they just were they recording everything?
Apparently they were doing a field experiment.
I mean, if they're trying to make a flying car, it's believable they'd be recording stuff that they were working on. That part's believable.
Okay. Continuing on.
It's coherent with their story.
Falcon was safe and well at home.
Falcon just chowing down on that pizza. Okay, so this is exclusive live on CNN.
He was said to have been hiding, but he got his parents into very hot water indeed when he made this admission in a live interview.
You guys said that we did this for the show.
The 6-year-old doesn't lie! The 6-year-old on CNN! They were like, buddy, you were in the attic. Why didn't you come out? And he's like, because you said we were doing this for a show, Dad. And it all went downhill from there. The dad tried to, backtrack, and there's even a point in the interview where he's like, now hold on, I see where you're going to try to spin this, and that's just disrespectful. And it's like, bro, the 6-year-old doesn't lie, bro.
6-year-olds can lie.
I mean,
I don't trust
6-year-olds
children.
can lie. But it's so funny when kids are the most honest person in the room. Because the kid doesn't understand why we're lying about me not being in a helium balloon.
They said to sit in the attic, and if we sat in the attic, we would get a TV show.
Yes.
What?
So anyway, they do another interview. I don't remember if this is CNN or not. I feel so bad for all of the kids, but mostly Falcon. Falcon, they do another interview after Falcon rats them out on CNN to Wolf Blitzer's face. Because Wolf Blitzer hears this and he's just like, we got him, boys. What did you say, kid? So anyway, after this interview, they do another interview where they're trying to explain themselves and how this is all a misunderstanding and the 6-year-old was misunderstood on TV. And the poor kid throws up on TV.
No!
I know, he was so stressed. He was clearly so stressed because, like, his parents are telling him to lie on national TV, and he's like, but I know I wasn't hiding in the attic. I wasn't asleep in a cardboard box. It's so he throws up into, like, a Tupperware dish.
Why do they have a Tupperware dish?
I don't know.
Wait, that raises so many questions.
And then they have to, like, unwire him as they go, because he's, like, wired and all this stuff. He's throwing up on...
Who's like, all right, guys, we're going to go on to our live TV interview. If this goes well, we're going to get a TV show out of it. All right, what do we have to have? Do we have the kids? Yeah. We have the clothes? Yeah, clothes are important. Cool.
Barf bucket?
Do we have the barf bucket? Yeah. What else did they have? I'm curious what else they were prepared for.
I know, right? They have a whole disaster.
Do we have the EpiPen? No one needs an EpiPen. Yeah, but what if someone needs an EpiPen?
Inhalers.
Inhalers? None of us have asthma, but what if?
Earthquake prepare kit. Those military packets of dehydrated food. You're like, what if the apocalypse happens while we're on
55-gallon drum of water?
Yeah, what if the apocalypse happens while we're on with Wolf Blitzer? We gotta have the 50-gallon jug of water.
Yeah.
We gotta fight the zombies off.
3 shotguns.
3, no less. Anyway.
Both the adults and the middle-aged kid.
Adults in the middle... What?
For the shotguns.
Oh. They didn't have a middle-aged kid. I think their oldest kid was like...
I meant the one in the middle. I wanted to say not the oldest and not the youngest.
Oh, the middle child. The middle-aged kid. The 40-year-old...
I realized I misspoke.
The 40-year-old child that lives in the basement.
Yeah.
So, after they got ratted out by their own child on national TV, there was an investigation. The investigation, allegedly, I was watching a Mile Higher episode where they were talking about this, and apparently they submitted for some kind of, like, I think they did polygraphs, and the wife, Mayumi, I think she was the one that cracked, because it was after she went in that they were like, we got a case. So I don't know what she told them. Apparently there were also, like, notes that were found where they were, like, making notes that, like, were presented in court. That basically is, like, planning for this whole thing, right? Like, got the balloon, call 911, I think they were debating whether to call the news or 911 first. It was a whole thing. Anyway, this ends in them both getting sentenced to prison.
What?
Because they were wasting government resources. Like, imagine that you actually have an emergency on the day that Balloon Boy is missing, and nobody's there to help you with your emergency.
Because everyone's trying to run down this empty-ass weather balloon.
Yeah, right?
They didn't even put the kid in the weather balloon.
So, I think the wife got less time than the husband, and they were able to, like, do their time in, like, staggered sentences so that the kids had somebody watching them, because they have 3 small children.
Yeah. That's probably... I was about to say that's probably good for the kids that they still always had one parent at a time, but given the parents,
it
might
is a
not have
luxury
been.
that the police do not give to everybody.
Yeah.
So I'm glad for their children's sake that they...
I don't know if I am.
You think the children are like, please?
Yeah, given that the parents suck.
Do you think the story is over yet?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I know it isn't.
So, Balloon Boy went down in infamy as, like, a big thing. Like, SNL did skits, every late night guy did skits, and the Heenies had to pull their children out of school and homeschool them. And basically they went off the grid. They were just like, we are in hiding, we are in shame, we are the Balloon Boy family. The kids have asked for none of this, by the way.
Yeah, those kids didn't deserve to be known as the Balloon family.
But there was an update to the story. In 2020, I will say, after they had served their time, the new governor of Colorado in 2020, so this is 11 years after it happened, formally pardoned them.
But why?
I guess just because he was like, we need to move on from Balloon Boy, and everybody's like, we Sir?
But we did. Nobody
did.
thought about it anymore.
We haven't been thinking about Balloon Boy, but they got pardoned in 2020. And then they also, I think it was around that time, that they did a follow-up interview. Like a Where Are They Now interview. Let's play that clip. It's ABC News. And what I love about this ABC News clip is the newscaster that's reporting on it is aware of how silly this is.
Balloon Boy, anybody ever throw that at you these days?
Yeah, a lot.
But you're laughing about it.
Yeah. It's just,
wait, it happens a lot?
Yeah.
What's your reaction to it?
I'm just like, ah.
Because what else do you say?
Yeah.
At least he has
Honestly,
a sense of
kid
humor
seems
about it.
better adjusted than I expected. At least
Maybe
from that
it's
clip.
like, my dad always jokes that my dad always jokes that he and my mom have to be crazy so that when we would rebel against them, we'd be well-adjusted and normal. Maybe it's a similar situation. That just threw you for a loop.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it really did.
Love you, Mom and Dad. I don't think they watch this, but anyway. Moving on.
Surely you know, this was not just some little story that was going to go away. You know that, right?
Afterward, after the fact.
Do you think they didn't realize how big it was going to blow up? Do you think they thought it was going to be like a local news piece and then they'd get to sweep it under the rug?
I mean, actually, we didn't have a TV hooked up, so I had no idea what was going on.
That sounds like a lie.
They had the 1,000,000-volt Jetsons flying machine, but not the TV.
No, they're not here for that modern technology. They're here for the technology of the future.
It's like, you know how
Oh my God.
You know how like Amish people reject modern technology? They reject modern technology because they only believe in future technology.
Yeah, hilarious.
A search is underway for a 6-year-old boy who may or may not have climbed into a homemade helium balloon.
Yeah, Wolf Blitzer doesn't believe it. Wolf Blitzer's like, I got my suspicions.
Rescuers scrambled to find the boy in the balloon while viewers held their breath.
I'm going to say that this kid is going to be okay. It's been a safe landing.
But as it turned out, Falcon was never in the balloon to begin with.
How stupid do you think all these people felt after they'd been trailing an empty balloon for like 2 hours?
Stupid? No. Lied to? Yes.
I mean, yeah, like it's not their fault, but...
After nearly 2 hours, that flying saucer started losing its lift.
Do you think there was some guy, I just thought of this right now, do you think there was some guy that was like an off-the-grid, like, alien truther who wasn't watching the news, saw the balloon go by, was like, I knew it! That was the aliens!
I would say yes, but it doesn't look like there's anything around for a good while.
You would think that, but Colorado is tricky like that.
True.
And this thing hauled ass. It covered a lot of ground.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't weighed down by anything like 6-year-olds.
This poor guy. Props to this guy. He's the real MVP.
We did this for the show.
What did he mean we did this for the show?
I have no idea.
He's so cute. This poor kid. Look at the dad. Look at the dad's face. What does he mean by that? I have no idea.
Richard and his wife, Mayumi, insisted it was not staged, but eventually pled guilty to related charges and served minimal jail time.
I feel bad for Mayumi because, again, Richard Heaney kind of seems like a total asshole from everything I've read.
Mayumi, did you actually think you could lose your kids in all this?
Yes, I did. I don't think this was her idea.
No.
I think Richard was like, I got this idea.
Why wouldn't people go?
This is another hit piece. This is another hit piece, which I anticipate. Here? Yeah.
the ABC's guy like, me? Bro.
There's another hit piece. This?
This right here? I was just talking to your family. We had dinner together.
What would be nice is if the media could actually go, yeah, Richard's got a point.
Richard's got a point about what,
Yeah,
Richard?
I was about to say, why can't the media, you can hear the air quotes around media, why can't the media admit that Richard's got a point? What point? What argument are you making?
Well, you see, I have this 1,000,000-volt Jetsons balloon. It runs off of plasma field? What did he say?
It was 1,000,000 volts running through the outer shell of the balloon, generating a plasma field which directs it forward.
Is that even how that works?
No! How would someone do that? Right? Or at the very least, if they did, how would they do it in a way that they could steer?
This is why I was so excited to specifically show you this thing. Because of your science background, I was like, she's gonna lose her shit when she sees this.
It's completely ridiculous. This man is like, all right, guys. What if I put the invisible magic, which is what electricity is, into a balloon?
Invisible magic.
In such a way that it would kill anyone who touches it. In such a way that it makes the fucking star fire around the edge of the balloon to propel it forward. You know, like a normal fucking balloon does when you electrocute it. And then we're gonna put people in it.
I'm picturing somebody in the future just being like, all right, honey, I'm going to work. Chirp, chirp. And the whole thing lights on fire. All right, gets in the
This is the future that Elon Musk is dreaming of. Oh my God.
Do you feel a sense still that you need to clear your name?
Oh, most definitely.
Still, 10 years later?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Why is that still so important to you?
He's like, why haven't you given this up, my guy?
I've had people contact me about things I've invented, and the deal went south. And, because they find out who I am.
I don't know that it was because of Balloon Boy that his deals with selling his inventions went south. If the invention is anything like the invention that we saw previously, it might have gone south when he said plasma fields.
Yeah, it might have gone south. This man was like, I got my plan here. It's my brilliant plan. It's just, I'm going to take this weather balloon, I'm going to murder it, and then make star fire to shoot you forward.
Make fire go faster.
Well, what the fuck? We're going to put 1,000,000 volts to generate a plasma field to make you go forward. Why would the plasma make you go forward? You would have to have a way of ejecting the plasma.
Yeah.
Make all the plasma on one side? This man doesn't know how drag works.
Let's rework Richard Heaney's balloon flying idea.
It's unworkable. The idea of putting something on a weather balloon that can propel it forward and using basically, let's be honest here, a fancier but worse personal version of a Zeppelin.
Yeah.
It's just a blimp, but instead of using the incredibly well-tested and known to work propulsion method of propellers, it's using the sci-fi bullshit method of what if we generated a star around the outside of our blimp and launched it forward.
It is. I didn't think about that. It is just like having your own personal tiny blimp.
That's on fire.
That's on fire.
It kills you if you touch it.
Do you want to go to work at the Hindenburg every single day?
Remember, it crashes when you get in it.
It crashes when you get in it. Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
There's so many fancy bullshit tech ideas like this that are just, what if we had an existing thing and then made it worse, right? This guy's over here like, what if we had a blimp, but it was like personal sized, and then like when you get in it, instead of the propulsion methods being tried and true propulsion methods that we know work of just burning gas to turn a propeller, what if instead we set it on fire?
Well, it feels...
Sorry. We electrocuted it so much it set the atmosphere on fire around it.
And then it kind of just starts to feel like an 8-year-old made this for a science fair and got a solid C for effort.
Yeah.
Like, and we put the balloon in the air and then we light it on fire. But we're not done.
I mean, I almost want to go on a brief tangent about other dumb sci-fi things.
Go ahead.
Because there's so many things where people are like, guys, I have this new idea for this revolutionary method of transportation. And every single one of them, you look at it and you're like, okay, so you can make it more efficient by having one big engine pulling a bunch of smaller ones. And then you can make it more efficient because steel on steel has really low friction. Rolling friction between steel is basically non-existent.
Yeah.
So you can get some rails, some steel wheels. Wait a second, this is a train again.
Yeah, it's a train again.
And like you look at Elon Musk's ideas, right? And he's like, all right, we got this like Hyperloop 8. I forget which one's the loop and which one's the Hyperloop. I'm going to rant about both of them. You have the one that's like the train, but it's a maglev train in a vacuum sealed tunnel. You know what's more efficient than that? 2 normal trains. You know what's more money efficient than that? 1 normal train.
Yeah.
Because maglev trains are a thing that exists already, and we don't build them, partially because this country doesn't build trains because we suck, but also because it's like, what if we made a train that was 100 times more expensive up front, 1,000 times more expensive in the upkeep cost, and was 1% faster?
How did we survive as a nation without Elon Musk?
Right? And then vacuum tube trains are also a thing that we haven't built, but the idea for them has existed in the past, and we never built them because it's not worth the effort to make, like, oh boy, we got rid of the air resistance on our train and now it can go faster. Yes, but if anything goes wrong at all, you have a problem.
Do you know that in the 1800s, when they built the Golden Gate Bridge, they proposed putting a roller coaster on top of it?
Amazing. They should have.
Do you know why they didn't?
I'd imagine it had a lot to do with logistics.
Yeah, it turns out that sharp, because it would have been like way over the cable, right, on top of the Golden Gate Bridge. And that drop was so sharp that it would actually suffocate you.
That sounds about right, yeah.
So they realized they couldn't do that. But anyway, getting back to your...
Yeah, okay. So then the other one is like, what if we had subway tunnels that were just full of Tesla taxis, basically?
Yeah.
Right? It's just a subway, but worse. Nobody, you cannot, the only possible advantage that has over a subway is that you can basically just walk in and there'll be a Tesla waiting for you, and then you can get in it. But then it has the downside of traffic. You know what subways don't normally have to deal with?
Traffic.
There being other cars right in front of them because it's the subway. It moves them all at once.
Was it Elon Musk that was trying to put microchips in people's brains?
Yes, they did a bunch of experiments on monkeys. I think most of the monkeys died.
There was like experiments on pigs, right?
It was monkeys, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, it was monkeys, okay.
They were like, we're going to do a bunch of experiments of putting things in monkeys, and then all the monkeys died. And then they're like, wow, that's crazy. We're ready for human trials now. No, you're not.
Poor monkeys.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, monkeys.
Yeah, rest in peace, those monkeys. Anyway, back on topic.
Richard Heaney.
Richard Heaney.
Is
the Elon Musk of 2008.
The reality. I kind of wish he had gotten his reality show.
It would have been really funny.
I want to see what a reality show about Richard Heaney being like the wacky science dad trying to make his spaceship fly in 2009 and his kids are running around getting in it. I want to know what that's like. What does that show look like? We'll never know. We're not done, though.
And the thing that gets me is the media never tells my side of the story.
I think your son told your side of the story when he said, we did this for the TV show.
It's had a very positive effect. Positive. Very positive, because I closed off our family to the outside world.
That sounds healthy.
Pause.
Okay.
I want to comment on the verbiage of that. I did that.
Yeah. It wasn't something that I had to do because of my stupidity.
It wasn't something I had to do. It wasn't something that we decided. I did that.
Yeah. And this goes back to why I feel bad for his wife.
Yeah.
We couldn't do activities together before the public humiliation.
Since the incident, the Heaney Boys have started a band. Their heavy metal talents on display in this 2014 music video for a song aptly titled No Hoax.
So here's a new thing. The Heaney Boys are in a metal band together. They have a diss track about the Balloon Boy situation. It's called Balloon Boy No Hoax. They're going to play a clip of it here, but I might also be able to find it somewhere else. Let me just see if I can find Balloon Boy No Hoax. If not, I'll come back to this.
Balloon Boy No
Hoax. That's what the song is called.
I'd imagine their dad helped write it, given the title.
Why can't I find the music video? Guys.
Did you try adding music video to your search? That usually helps finding music videos that are named after well-known things like Balloon Boy Hoax.
I'm not seeing it. The Balloon Boy Hoax. It's a Vlogbrothers video from 13 years ago.
And maybe it's just not on YouTube.
Guys, put it on YouTube. It'll do great over here.
Go back to the other video. We need to finish.
Yeah. So they were going to show you a clip of Balloon Boy No Hoax.
We don't really want to associate ourselves with that. We just want to rock out.
We don't really want to associate ourselves with the thing we wrote a song about.
And made a whole music video about with the balloon in the background. Also, I'm not they were still kids, and I'm sure it was their dad's idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, Balloon Boy No Hoax. The glam rock band.
So would you rather get out of the spotlight at this point, given what the spotlight has done to you?
Yeah, I don't want to be in the spotlight.
I don't want to be in the spotlight. That's why I'm on a TV show getting a live interview.
Let's hear him out. He says because of this, and he points to the shirt.
Because of this. People need to know this right here, this truth.
Search truth.
Internet historian Richard Heen.
What? I have so many questions.
We may have found an important topic that you didn't know about in your research.
Search truth. I'm gonna pull it up in another tab.
I'm gonna Google it on my phone.
Go ahead.
Real quick.
This is a research podcast now. But yeah, it looks like the kids are doing fine. Looks like everybody's relatively fine.
Yeah, maybe we just drop it and get back to staying on topic as opposed to just Googling aimlessly on our...
Yeah, sure. Wait,
what is this?
What the fuck is this?
What website is this?
This is drewandmikepodcast.com. I have no idea what we're looking at.
Dad Richard Heen joins us. Tells about being a Hall of Shame.
Oh, is the dad on the podcast? I'm so confused.
I think he may have joined them.
Okay, so
I can't believe you didn't do more research about this.
I did.
You didn't do enough.
I didn't look up the specific words on his shirt.
Why not?
I got us everything else.
Did you even watch this interview where he says the reason he's here is the words on his shirt?
Yes.
And you didn't Google? You didn't figure out what
I should have Googled it. But anyway.
Can you believe how bad Avery is at preparing for the podcast?
So anyway, in summary.
Balloon
Boy.
Balloons. Haha.
Final thoughts.
Hilarious. This man is what Elon Musk would be like if his father didn't own an apartheid emerald mine.
You know, that is a delightful thought.
Am I wrong?
No, I don't think you are wrong.
I rarely am.
But yeah.
And humble, too.
You mean like if Elon Musk didn't have just like a bunch of
if Elon Musk
he was related to telling him he was smart?
If Elon Musk didn't start with a small loan of $1 billion, where would he be today? He'd be Richard Heen.
Heaney. They pronounce the E in the end.
Oh, Richard Heaney.
Anyway, that's the story of Balloon Boy.
Balloons.
I want that sound on my soundboard now.
Balloons. No, I didn't quite capture it. Balloons. I don't know.
Anyway.
Whichever one's funniest goes on the soundboard.
Anyway, thank you for joining me on this. Do you have it? Are you just still broken about the plasma field?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought you would be.
This man is over here like, guys, what if we set our blimp on fire and had a personal car that was a blimp that was on fire?
I didn't see
Genius.
I didn't see that episode of the Jetsons.
Yeah, I don't remember that part of the Jetsons.
Where George Jetson dies in a fiery crash. Anyway, that was our story for this week. Thank you guys for being here. Do all the things, the podcast, YouTube things. I'm sorry, I've broken Maddie. We're gonna go watch. Sorry. Did you just hiss at me?
Why are you hissing?
Because I'm better at hissing.
I didn't really hiss.
Anyway,
us being stupid aside.
Be sure to like, rate, comment. What are they supposed to do on podcasts?
I don't know.
Leave us a review.
I only really ever actively listened to the Worm Literary Analysis podcast. And its follow-up, the Ward Literary Analysis podcast.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out to those guys. I think they're going by Doof Media these days.
Nice.
Good for them.
But yes.
I enjoy their content.
But yes, thank you for being here on this adventure into not just pop culture, but science. Have we learned anything?
It wasn't really a lot of science as much as it was me loudly being like, People are coming up with fancy, high-tech tech versions of things that already exist that are worse.
You taught us more science. I wouldn't say Richard taught us any science, which is interesting because this man had a science-based podcast, remember?
I hate this man.
Anyway, thank you guys for being here. We'll see you in the next one. We usually go travel somewhere else in the year that we're in, so we're in 2009. Should we find a silly thing that happened in 2009?
What happened in 2009? I don't know. There was probably a movie at some point, right?
I'm sure there was. 2009 pop culture events. It's probably going to give me Balloon Boy.
Did it?
Let's see. Obama's sworn into office. I saw that the first time it happened.
I don't think I did.
Grindr launched.
Clearly the most important thing of the year.
Let's go invest stock in Grindr.
No, I'm good.
Anyway.
Hannah Montana, the movie, hit theaters.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
We could go sit in the theater with Grindr.
Glee.
What happened with Glee?
Glee and Modern Family aired their first episodes.
Oh my god, 2009 was a crazy year. Farmville! Not Farmville! Oh, Michael Jackson died. That was a crazy year.
Oh god, Chris Pratt.
So yeah, anyway. Lady Gaga! Mother! That was a great performance.
Did you call Lady Gaga mother?
Lady Gaga is mother.
I've met your mother.
Have you seen her and Lady Gaga in the same place?
Yes.
We've tried to end this podcast like 3 times.
And now we're ending it.
Bye guys. Flash morning. Woo!